During a warm summer afternoon of 792, the Eastern Romans of Constantinople stood waiting in their entrenched position near the border fortress of Markellae. 3 decades earlier, in this same location, Emperor Constantine V had scored the first victory for Constantinople against the Bulgars and their Slavic allies. Although this was accomplished by assuming an overly defensive posture and refusing to engage the steppe Bulgars, it nonetheless led to the halting of the annual tribute payment that had been flowing uninterrupted from Constantinople to Palyga for almost 7 decades. Not only the loss of the tribute payment, but the disintegration of the leading clan plunged the early Bulgarian Empire into more than a decade of instability. In 777, a new strongman arose within the Bulgar ranks, Han Kardam, a man who was not only capable of uniting the disparate tribes of Bulgaria, but one also capable of mobilizing a campaign against the Romans. As a decisive clash between Bulgars and Romans once again approached, the Emperor of Eastern Romans raised the local themes in the elite tagmata, rallying them within the safety of Markellae's fortifications. The Bulgars, despite being enmeshed with the sedentary Slavs for over a century now, still waged war according to nomadic steppe doctrine. Arrows rained down on Roman positions from highly mobile frontline horse archers. From atop their saddles, these Bulgars let loose volley after volley and simply moved down the line whenever resistance was met. Where the Romans could return fire, they did, however with little effectiveness. Frontline horse archer units were expected to eat casualties with the intent of frustrating enemy commanders, forcing enemy combatants to lose cohesion, and finally baiting the enemy army into giving chase. From an egoic perspective, this undermined Roman authority and leadership, beckoning a response. From a tactical perspective, the arrow fire slowly chipped away at Roman morale and inflicted minor but insignificant casualties. Prudent Roman commanders knew to maintain position. Although this strategy was sometimes perceived cowardly, the numerically inferior Bulgars and Slavs were lighter equipped and less predisposed to static pitched battles on flat terrain. The one time they attempted to break a fully mobilized and organized Roman army led to a non-fatal but decisive defeat during the Second Battle of Anyhalis in 763. This meant as long as the Romans maintained their positions, the Bulgar-Slavs would be forced to either initiate an unfavorable attack or fully withdraw from the battlefield, giving the Romans an easy victory. From Theophanes the Confessor. Breathing hotly and persuaded by false prophets that victory would be his, the emperor joined battle. As they trudged into the rough earth bordering Markellae, the Eastern Romans left the safety of their terrain, fortress, and ditch network. Unsurprisingly, gaps formed in the line as units were forced to halt, slow down, or bypass natural features like hills, rivers, and small bodies of water. Following the nomadic way to a T, Han Kardam ordered a full and coordinated charge. Cavalry squadrons, hidden by the nearby hills and forests, emerged from the flanks, smashing into the sides of the Roman army. Simultaneously, the Bulgar Khan led the main body of Bulgars and Slavs, charging directly into the now panic-stricken Roman front line. The slaughter that followed was great and disastrous for the Romans. Again from Theophanes. Without plan or order, the emperor was severely beaten. He fled back to the city having lost many men, not only ordinary soldiers, but also persons invested with authority. Among them, the magistros, Michael Lachanodrakon, the patrician Bardas, the protospatharios Stefan Hameas, the former strategoi Niketas and Theognostos, and many other men in imperial service, as well as the false prophet, the astrologer Pankratios, who had prophesied that he would win. The Bulgarians took the whole train, namely money, horses, and the emperor's tent with all his equipment. Constantine VI resumed the annual tribute, reversing the effects of the Roman victories 30 years prior, and once again symbolically giving way to the early Bulgarian Empire as top dog in the region. As the convoys of gold and silver resumed their northward routes, the Bulgar Khan once again had great wealth to disperse among his subjects and fund further campaigns against the Eastern Romans. As for Constantine VI, his disaster compounded with even more shameful deeds. Fearing his own tagmata would elect a male of his own blood, the emperor ordered all his grandfather's sons be brought to a monastery in Constantinople. There he removed the tongues of his blood, Christopher, Niketas, Anthimos, and Eudokimos. By further advice of his mother Irene, he removed the eyes of his blood, Nikephoros, in addition to those of the patrician Alexios. One final parting quote from Theophanes. The punishment of those men took place in the month of August on a Saturday in Diction 15 at the 9th hour. But not for long did God's judgment leave the unjust deed unavenged, for after a lapse of 5 years, in the same month and also on a Saturday, the same Constantine was blinded by his own mother.
Bahczalarda kestane, daha kırılır dahane, aman emin çivan emek